group of climate change organizations have
Emissions of greenhouse gases.
Climate change is now happening.
Indonesia says it's
10 million tons of.
The Philippines tops a list of
Have you ever wondered why we experience climate change? And what do you think are the reasons about the occurrence of this event? Let's find out. Imagine a world where the air is fresh, water is crystal clear, and the land is lush and green. Sadly, this vision is under threat due to one of humanity's greatest challenges, the pollution. Pollution is the introduction of harmful substances into the environment, carrying adverse effects on our planet and all living beings. Today, let's explore the different types of pollution, its cause and effects, and control measures.
Now, let's talk about the marine pollution. So, according to the National Geographic, marine pollution is a growing problem in today's world. Our ocean is being flooded with two main types of pollution, which is the chemical and trash. But there are the other caused by a variety of sources, including oil spill, ships, ocean mining, and marine dumping. And the two main types of pollution, chemical and trash. So these are the costs of marine pollution. We have the oil spill. Oil spill can change the chemical composition of the smothering biodiversity. Ships can pollute the ocean by dumping pollutants directly into the water, or by releasing exhaust gases into the atmosphere. Ocean mining, drilling for the substance like gold, silver, and copper can create harmful sulfide deposits in the ocean. Chemical industrial runoff can introduce fertilizers, pesticides, and heavy materials into the ocean, creating toxic environments. Plastics waste or trash. Plastic waste can break down into the microplastics and monoplastics that can enter the tissues of marine. Let's talk about the effect. Marine pollution can harmful life, including fishes, seabirds, and mammals. It can also lead to the ecological imbalance, which is the global warming or climate change, reduce reproductions, and immigrations. Control the marine pollution. First, we have reduce waste material, especially single-use plastics. Second is clean beaches or rivers. Third, use organic farming techniques instead of the chemical pesticides and fertilizers. Fourth is ensure that only rainwater goes into drainage systems. Five is take care to keep rivers clean, so don't contaminate the ocean. Last is limit the air pollutants in the ship's exhaust.
Thermal pollution is any sudden change in the temperature of a natural body of water. Normally, rivers, lakes, and oceans maintain a fairly steady temperature. They gain heat from sunlight, warm currents, and hot springs, but they disperse this heat naturally. The power plants also use this water for cooling. They pull in cold water and run it over the machinery to absorb excess heat. Some of this water evaporates, but the rest gets dumped back into the body of water it came from. This heat water raises the temperature of the body of the water as a whole. That's what thermal pollution is. And now let us proceed with the causes of thermal pollution. Both natural events and human activities can cause thermal pollution, but the most common cause is discharges of wastewater used for industrial cooling. The second one is deforestation. Deforestation is the removal of trees from an area. Humans cut down forests to harvest timber and to clear land for crops, livestock, grazing, or development. Deforestation causes thermal pollution in two ways. First, it contributes to erosion along river and stream beds. Second, it removes shade from lake shores and river banks. This exposes the water to more sunlight, causing it to heat up. The third one is the urban runoff. In the summer, city streets, buildings, and other hard surfaces get very hot. A rainstorm can help cool everything off, but where does all that excess heat go? Into the water, which then runs off into nearby streams, rivers, and seaward drains that ultimately lead to the ocean. The city gets cooler, but nearby bodies of water get hotter. And the fourth one, some causes of thermal pollution are natural. Heat from wildfires, volcanoes, and underwater thermal vents can all cause sudden spikes in water temperature. Let us proceed now with the effects of thermal pollution. Thermal pollution harms ecosystems in various ways. The first one is the disruption of fish and amphibian habitats. Many aquatic plants, insects, and amphibians are sensitive to small changes in temperature. When the water suddenly becomes warmer or colder, they suffer stress. Some of them become ill or die. Others survive, but they become less fertile or produce deformed offspring. Over time, this causes the population to drop. Second one is the decrease in dissolved oxygen. Warm water holds less oxygen than cold water. When water heats up, the molecules move around faster, allowing more oxygen to escape. Thus, any sudden infusion of dissolved oxygen, oxygen-breathing creatures unable to leave the area can literally suffocate. The third one is the algal blooms. Not all species suffer when water temperature rises. Algae, especially blue-green algae, thrive in warmer water. Organic matter decomposes faster in warm water, filling it with nutrients that feed the algae. The fourth one is the increased toxins in the water. Thermal pollution often comes with a side dose of other pollution. Runoff from urban areas and farmland may contain harmful chemicals like sewage and pesticides. Industrial cooling water often contains fuel oil, solvents, heavy metals, and cooling water from nuclear plants can be faintly radioactive. Yes, so since we're done with the cause and effects of thermal pollution, I have a question. Can thermal pollution be resolved? Well, listen. The main source of thermal pollution is cooling water. Thus, the best way to address the problem is to get rid of ones through cooling systems. There are three ways to do this. Either don't use water for cooling, or cool the water before dumping it, or don't dump it at all. In addressing thermal pollution, to solve the problem of thermal pollution, industries need to change their practices. The question is, how to persuade them to do it? In general, industries do things the way they do because it maximizes their profit. To get them to change, we need to make wastewater dumping less profitable. Individuals can also be part of the solution, since fossil fuels plants are a major source of thermal pollution. Switching to clean energy can help reduce the problem. Wind and solar power plants don't produce heated wastewater, and they don't emit greenhouse gases either. Thus, making the switch can also help limit climate change and the thermal pollution that comes with it.
So now, let's talk about noise pollution, also known as environmental noise or sound pollution. It's the propagation of noise with ranging impacts on the activity of human or animal life. It's essentially unwanted or excessive sound that can have harmful effects on human health and the environment. So I have here 4 examples of noise pollution. The first one is traffic. Cars, trucks, and buses create constant noise in urban areas. And the second one is construction. Heavy-duty machinery and building activities generate loud and disruptive sounds. And the third one is airports. Aircraft taking off and landing produce significant noise pollution. And the last one is industries. Factories and power plants often emit high levels of noise. So, let's proceed with causes and effects of noise pollution. First, the cause of noise pollution. Increased urbanization, industrialization, and transportation. And also the effects of noise pollution is hearing loss, stress, sleep disturbance, cardiovascular problems, reduced productivity, and even aggression. So, let's proceed with control measures. The first one is noise barriers. Walls or barriers to block sound propagation. Another one is soundproofing. Treating buildings and structures to reduce noise transmission. And quieter machinery. Using quieter equipment in industries and construction. And the last one is traffic management, implementing speed limits and traffic calming measures.
Nuclear hazard refers to harmful effects on human health, the environment, and the infrastructure caused by the release of radioactive materials or energy due to nuclear activities, such as accidents at nuclear power plants, improper handling of radioactive substance or nuclear weapons detonations. Here are some causes of nuclear hazards. First, failure in reactor cooling system. Second, human error or technical malfunctions. Third, detonation nuclear bombs results to radioactive fallout and intense thermal radiation. Fourth, poor management of waste from nuclear power plants or medical facilities can contaminate the environment. Lastly, earthquake, tsunamis, or other natural events damaging nuclear facilities. Here are some effects of nuclear hazard. First, short-term effect. Radiation sickness, burn, and acute health conditions. In long-term, increased risk of cancer, genetic mutation, and birth defects. Now, on the environment. First, contamination of soil, water, and air with radioactive substances. Second, damage to ecosystem and biodiversity used due to radiation exposure. Now, what are the control measures to prevent nuclear hazard? First, create evacuation routes and shelters and protocols for disasters. Second, educate local communities on safety measures and emergency responses. Third, conduct regular trainings of staff and first responders. Fourth, assess the safety and functionality of nuclear facilities. And lastly, install sensors to detect radiation levels around facilities.
Everything I say is the truth.
Pollution is a
Disappear
pressing
just like
issue,
poof. This
but
shit
together we can make a difference by reducing waste, using clean energy, and promoting sustainable practices. We can protect our planet for the future generation.